Hey guys, what a difference a day can make in Kentucky. So it's 51 degrees out here. Feels wonderful. And we're back on day 41. I'm out here today with the Adidas Terrex Free Hiker Mid. So the reason why I bought these shoes is I'm a big fan of just the simple black and white silhouettes of shoes. So I've worn these a couple times before and noticed that stain on the foam midsole there. That was a walnut stain. I tried every way in the world to get that out. Could not get it out. I used to collect walnuts as a kid. We'd go around and pick them up by the bucketfuls and then take them home, and I'd be wearing a pair of gloves and we'd shell them and everything, let them dry. But yeah, you get that crap on your clothes, it's game over. So it has a kind of a high top silhouette, and but being kind of a flexible, slip-in shoe, and in that respect, it's really nice. I do have some complaints with the shoe, but let's get into those. So the shoe was apparently made from recycled materials, and the thought being is, like, once you wanted to discard of the shoes, you could send them back into Adidas and they would fully recycle them and all of this stuff into the next line of shoes. But I think they ended up scratching that program completely within a very short amount of time too. They're my geese. Yeah, I like them. So that material that they've used and created, it's strange. It is not like a knit that just is super flexible. It's definitely a knit material all the way through, but it almost like it has plastic embedded within it to make it more durable, and it is still flexible. It's kind of a strange material, but because of that plastic woven within it, it kind of does what it wants to do. Like, there'll be times where it doesn't really do as nice of a job being as fitting over the foot. It just kind of abides by its own rules and follows its own shape, and it's not as flexible as a lot of the knit uppers that I'm used to on other shoes. I got this shoe for mainly one purpose, and it was mainly to do some light hiking with my family, and I haven't gotten to use that much for that purpose yet. We used to go quite often, but we didn't go this past year. Still, for that purpose, I think it'd be really good. The shoelaces, if I want to lace them all the way to the top, they just are not really long enough to tie them appropriately. The laces need to be a little bit longer. If you had like really super thin ankles, and mine aren't even like, I'm not walking around with cankles or anything, but yeah, need to be longer. That's just a nitpick thing. But the insoles are absolute trash, and I think it's beyond the trash that you normally used to with trash insoles. Like this insole that you pull out of this thing, don't get me wrong, it looks like it's durable, but it is just this ultra thin, completely flat piece of something you can't even really call a foam or rubber. I don't even know what the hell it is. It's awful. It doesn't feel like any decent insole I've ever seen in a shoe. I would take even the crap ones that you get from most shoes and put those in here as opposed to what they provide. I think the thought process was they wanted to try to make a shoe that if you got it wet, you step in through puddles or whatever, that it could kind of quickly wick away the water. So this is not any sort of foam insole or any sort of materials that we're going to hold on to water and retain it so much that you're sloshing around in the shoe. It's all kind of, the insole included, just comprised of stuff that will pretty much repel or kind of wick away water. But because of that, it's not quite as comfortable as maybe one might want. Now, I do have my Air Plus plantar fasciitis insole in this, and it is feeling quite decent actually. Yesterday I didn't experience the same level of burning or foot discomfort from the plantar fascia as I typically had, and it's almost as if it was getting better, at least for yesterday. And that was after that max cushion shoe, the 1080 V13. And I wore that pretty much throughout the day. I was truthfully expecting huge drop off though as soon as I stepped into these guys, because the cushion is not quite up to the quality of the 1080 V13. But I have to report, I'm just surprised, you know. This shoe is using Boost, but it's a more rigid form of Boost, and but it's giving me adequate cushion, and I'm not really feeling a huge drop off in comfort, as opposed when in comparison to the the 4 recent shoes I've tested out: Nike Pegasus 41, the Vomero 17, the New Balance Rebel V4, and the New Balance 1080 V13s. Those shoes from a cushion standpoint fare way better than this shoe here. However, for whatever reason today, my foot seems to be responding. In fact, I've probably got less of a feeling of plantar fascial pain than usual. So awesome. These shoes have this torsion bar in the bottom of the sole, and it's just like this bar. Let me show you. Here you go, right there. I can't really feel anything as far as any sort of difference as opposed to any other shoe. I think it's just a gimmick. Feels like a gimmick. The tread though is really nice. I'm 26 minutes in, everything still feels great. Like I said in an earlier video, I have a weigh-in coming in on Thursday, and I am not looking forward to that at all. Friday night was pizza night. Sunday was the Super Bowl. Last night was Texas Roadhouse. And what did I have to drink? Well, I started off water, and then I saw an ad for basically a dirty Dr. Pepper. Shoo-wee. And I am not going to go to Texas Roadhouse without having one of those delicious rolls. So of course I had to have 2. And then I thought, well, for the appetizer, I'll get some healthy grilled shrimp. And they bring it out there served on buttered bread like it was toasted. And that was better than the rolls. The somewhat of a saving grace is that I didn't snack for the rest of the night, and for whatever that's worth. The temperature difference is definitely making me thirstier. Normally I've been able to go the full 45 without water, but I'm gonna have to break for some water. It sucks getting old. I hate the heat. God, it's not even 50, like it's 50 something degrees right now. I forgot what it was, and I can feel the temperature rising, but it sucks. Kentucky is one of the most humid places in the summertime. Man, that'll be the true test of whether or not I can keep this going. I'm about 40 minutes into this walk, and I'm just shocked. These are one of the best shoes I've found for my walks, for sure. I'm still not a fan of the materials. One thing I forgot to mention is you really have to pull on the laces to kind of get them through the holes there. But they are a surprise. It's a surprisingly good pair of shoes. They've got a great cushion for a nice leisurely stroll or hike. They seem to have the durability and the water wicking ability to really put to the test on a trail. They seem to have excellent traction that you would need for pretty much any environment. And finally, if you want to pick up the pace and move quickly, these things have they're lightweight and they're cushioned enough for you to do that. The uppers and the laces seem to be rugged enough that you're not going to be worried about them getting caught on a snag or anything like that. These aren't going to be puncture resistant, but they're going to be a really nice, nimble hiking shoe for sure. I'm 46 minutes into the walk, and I have not felt an increased irritation to the plantar fascia, so that's quite amazing actually. And I will definitely be using these to move around in throughout the day, different days. Definitely going to keep this one. The true test will be this evening to see if that holds true throughout the night. All right, guys, I think that's enough for today. Thank you all for stopping in. See you tomorrow.